Alright, I'm back with my T410 here, and what I'm going to do with this video is kind of show you around the insides of it. I'm going to just kind of pop off the port on the bottom and also underneath the keyboard and show you some of the internals of this. Normally I'd be happy to strip it down to its bare parts, but I kind of want to keep my warranty intact since it is brand new, so I'll show you what I can without voiding the warranty. The first thing we'll do is flip it over upside down. And the first step in getting any keyboard off a ThinkPad is removing the proper screws on the bottom. Some dust off. When I was first trying this, I was surprised to learn there are only 2 screws on this model that hold the keyboard in place. I initially started removing all these little screws. You can see there's one there, a couple all over the place. I removed all those, and it only turns out only 2 of them actually held the keyboard in place, so I'm just going to show you those 2. Another common thing, this is my line of thinking anyways, I saw this little keyboard icon there, which on a ThinkPad generally indicates that that's where a keyboard screw is. And so I mistakenly took that screw out, when actually it's referring to this little hole in the bottom here, which is the drainage port, which I guess is made obvious by that little drop of water there. And what that is the keyboard has channels in it, where if you spill a can of Coke or some water or coffee on it, the liquid is actually drawn to these little ports in the bottom and drained safely out instead of getting on your motherboard and screwing up the electronics inside. Pretty cool little feature. I'm not going to test that live for you for obvious reasons, but that's what it's supposed to do. Alright, now let's get this keyboard off. And the first thing we're going to do is remove the memory port cover here. You can see down here there's a little keyboard indicator there next to this screw, which means that needs to be removed. And also here there's another keyboard indicator with an arrow that points inside of this port cover. So first step is let's get this cover off. I'm just using a standard little mini Phillips screwdriver. Miniature flathead would work also. These are, I guess the screws have both connectors on them. Don't know if they're called connectors or not, but that's what I'm going to term them. Alright, we'll put that aside. And this is the inside of the bottom. As you can see here, we just have a standard memory stick. This one particular one's a 2GB DDR3 SODIMM. And next to it, we have a mini PCI Express slot. If you order this model with the Bluetooth option, then I believe that card would be inserted here. I, however, did not order that option, so I can't confirm that. If somebody else knows better, feel free to comment and correct me. But basically, you can put any PCI Express, mini PCI Express card in there. Alright, and there's not much else to see in there, so we'll go ahead and remove this second screw that holds the keyboard in place. Get that out and put it in a safe spot. Alright, and now what we need to do is flip the unit back over and open it up. And there we go. And the other little trick to remember when you're opening up a ThinkPad keyboard is along this bottom edge here, you got your space bar, control keys. If you look in between the cracks, there's little notches in there, kind of pointing to it, the screwdriver here. And right there is where you want to insert your screwdriver and just gently pry up. So we'll go ahead and do that. You can see it kind of pop out of place. Don't force it. Let's go over to the other side and do the same thing on the other notch. Alright. Now we just kind of push forward gently so it pops up, and you should see the whole keyboard lift up there. Then you can gently pull back, and voila. Go ahead and just put it right there for now. And this is the inside of a T410. Right here we have a little roll cage protecting the optical drive. I guess it's fairly sturdy. If I put pressure on it, I can definitely see it moving and press this into the optical drive, but it would take a lot of force to actually go in and damage something. Under here we have a little black plastic flap that covers up the second memory thing. This is also a 2GB DDR3 SODIMM. Right here is where the keyboard plugs in. I can actually go ahead and, I won't remove it for now since it's not hurting anything, but you just simply pry that up and your whole keyboard will just simply pop off. Moving over here we have the Wi-Fi card. This particular one is the Intel 6300 model. It's wireless in, hence the 3 antennas coming out of it. And those are all routed up here into the right hand hinge and up into the back of the LCD display for all your antenna arrays. Over here, this is where we have the CPU. This particular one is a Core i5 540 Arendale chip. It's special in that it has the GPU and the CPU in the same package, so they're both being cooled by this simple 2 heat pipe cooler that leads back to the edge. And inside these little grills there's a copper heatsink and a little blower fan right there that pushes air out both the side and the back here. That's really about all there is to see in here. Again, I'd have to take off the whole palm rest and everything to show you more, but that is basically what is inside of a T410. I guess you have the battery bay and also the roll cage covering that here. Yeah, hope you enjoyed this little tour. Oh wait, back up. I'll show you the back of the keyboard. Lenovo does like to mess around with their keyboards, and in the older T60 series, this was basically just a flat, slab of metal. It was really solid. My T40 was the same way actually. There's none of these little holes, but what Lenovo did in the T400 series is they went and drilled out these little holes as kind of a weight saving measure. Kind of backfired on them, so they had to go through and redesign it, and this one is actually really sturdy. You can put a lot of force on it and it won't really bend or warp at all. And actually in an earlier video I found a little bit of keyboard flex on the escape key, and that was actually fixed by just simply removing this keyboard and just kind of making sure all these little paper labels were out of the way, and it's no longer a problem. I'm going to go ahead and put the keyboard back in its place now. It's just exact opposite of how you took it out. Pops in. Just slide it back a little bit. You want to make sure that those little tabs get under the lip of the palm rest. Alright, that's all in place. Alright, put that screw back. Little trick with these things I found, they have little tiny tabs on the edges. I don't know if you can see it too well on the video. There we go. But they do kind of hinder the plastic cover going back into place. You kind of have to jimmy it around, kind of warp it a little bit to make sure it goes in. There we go. Just simply tighten the screw down and we are back in business. Alright, that's been a quick teardown of the T410. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll be back with a few more videos pointing out little things of interest on this model, so stay tuned.